it, fellas. Look here.
Stand by.
One for C-Lab, two for Draw Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio. In this episode, everybody dies.
Broadcasting live from inside the Power Band, this is The Blob. In this episode, everybody dies. I'm your host, the Molverine, along with my friends, Jarhigo.
My name is unimportant, but you can call me Mr. Jarhigo.
Mr. Jarhigo.
Da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum.
He likes it hot. And C-Lab the Slab, Cyclops, forever.
Howdy.
Welcome to the show, folks. This week we're talking about the 1987 classic film, Lethal Weapon, the original buddy cop movie.
Not the show.
Not the show, that's right. Let's start this show.
Have you seen the show?
With Damon Wayans? No, it's 2016. I was reading about that.
Benny, have you seen the show?
It's a negative.
It's a negative, good buddy. I happened to watch the first 3 minutes of the show, and it was the worst 3 minutes of my life.
Wow, that's bad. It was that bad?
It was that bad. So I'm glad we're not doing the show today. Instead, we're doing this nugget, this chestnut, this fantastic 80s film, this buddy cop to I don't know, rule them all.
The buddy cop movie to rule them all.
It's been a long time. It was good.
That is correct.
Yes. So let's start. Let's fire up a little high level here. What are your thoughts, man?
High level for me. I was quite young when this came out, so this must have been one of the I remember this being on HBO or the equivalent a million times a day. So I think I've seen this
Definitely
in HBO form and in TBS, Melon Farmer fake swear words form. And I loved it when I was a kid, and I haven't seen it in a long time, and I really enjoyed watching it this time. I don't know if it held up, I don't know if I need to do a deep dive on buddy cop movies, but it was fun. It didn't, blow my socks off or anything, but I had a lot of fun, and I remember it nostalgically, so I definitely dug it.
fondly.
Fondling?
I fondled it with my brain.
You fondled your fondue?
I fondled it, yep.
Fondly. Hot cheese, guys. Hot cheese. Yeah, I recorded this off HBO because, watching it the 9,000 times it was on HBO was not enough for me when I was a young lad. So I've seen this movie a million times. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I loved it so much that I got a Mel Gibson mullet when I was a kid.
Yes.
I actually brought the hairstylist a picture of Mel Gibson and was like, do that.
That's awesome.
Do that.
What else can I say?
That's all you need to say, bro. That was amazing.
I wanted to watch it again when I was done with it this time. That's how much I enjoyed this viewing.
I love that. That was such a sweet mullet.
Okay. Were you compelled to get another mullet after this viewing, Ben?
I got my hair cut recently, and I tried to get a mullet, but my stylist wouldn't do it.
Really?
She refused out of principle.
She refused. She was like, no, I am not breaking out the Blaine's Necronomicon of mullets to summon that haircut upon you.
See, look,
it's too powerful.
I think we might need to go into a hairdresser cul-de-sac here, because, I feel like the anecdote about my friend. All right, I'm just going to back this up with a little anecdote. So a friend of mine is a Sparky, and his dad was a Sparky, and they were on. Oh, sorry, that's what they call electricians in Australia.
Got it.
My friend was an electrician, and his dad is an electrician, and I was on a job site once, and we were talking through some problem on the site, and my buddy who I went to school with chimed in, and his dad just turns to him. He's like, I don't pay you to talk. I pay you from the neck down. And it was the most belittling, hilarious. It was just, oh God, it was so funny. It was the perfect New England sarcastic takedown.
Nice.
I feel like this is going to sound prickish, but I feel like hairdressers are paid from the neck down. You just this is what I want. Fucking do it. I don't feel like a stylist should have that much say in what happens to your hair.
Yeah.
Wait, well, hold on now, Chad. You see, it's right there in the name, stylist. You're supposed to, probably try to cajole you into not doing something that's awful for your head and face type,
That's fine. That's fine. But I would argue that a mullet is not awful for many face types or heads.
I'm going to weigh in here. I am going to have to agree with Chad Higo on this one, man. I think...
what does that mean? What's Chad Higo? Is that both of us?
I don't know. I just felt like calling you Chad Higo. I got to agree with Spark Lab over there.
When did I marry Slab?
Hey, it's legal now.
It's legal now. I
Does
got to
that
agree
mean
with
Sly is my stepdad or my father-in-law now?
He's your
or what?
father-in-law?
your father-in-law and your stepdad.
Whoa. We moved to Utah.
Yeah, there you go. So I think
I'm
that
actually my own stepdad now. Or my
On
own
the
father-in-law.
show.
That's interesting.
that should be a sitcom. My stepdad is my father-in-law, starring Jar Higo and C-Lab,
And Sly Stallone.
with Sylvester Stallone as the dad and father-in-law.
And husband.
.com. Okay.
Love is love.
A lot of people don't know this, but the word style is in the stylists. They style you.
Oh my God, dude, that was such a crash and burn.
Wow.
I'm just very disappointed. I am just very disappointed that you got cock blocked from getting a mullet like that. I'm not a huge fan of how everyone has mullets these days, but if you, Jar Higo, my good friend and husband, want to get a mullet, you should be allowed to get a mullet.
Hey, man. First off, I don't care what everybody else is doing, okay?
That's true.
Let's just get that straight right now.
I don't follow the trends.
And, I mean, she's kind of right. It wasn't really long enough to be a mullet.
Was that her argument?
But
Yeah.
that being said,
Yeah, no. It's not long enough to be a mullet, dude. But I mean, look, I agree with Chad. Like, as the recipient of numerous bad haircuts or just haircuts that were not what I requested. My hair's somewhat longish now. It was very short for a while. And through all of those periods, through a couple of different barbers, I just kept receiving not what I asked for. So I agree with Chad. It's like, make suggestions. I get it. If you know what you're doing, I think that's a big part of this because it's like, make a suggestion, explain it why. Don't just do shit that's not what I asked for. Like, I went to this new place twice. The disappointment level was through the roof. And like the kid just like, he was so nice, but he was so new. And I was just like, I just need you to trim it because I like what's going on here. And like what I left with was something so radically different than what I sat down and requested. I wanted to cry in the car. So I'm with Chad on this. Like somebody's got to bust out the mullet Namacon dude and start casting some spells on these people because they deserve to die because these bad haircuts are just inexcusable. I mean, it's so bad that I finally...
Okay, just to be clear, I didn't get a bad haircut. I got a great haircut.
It's a scourge.
Well, I'm happy that
mullet.
you got a great haircut, Ben, because like the situation got so bad that I rolled into to get my kid's haircut.
You got a Floby? You bought a Floby online?
No. I rolled in to get... No, not that bad, dude. I rolled in to get my kid's haircut done around the corner from my house, and I was just like, can you please fix my hair?
Yes.
The woman was so good. I was like, that's it. You're my person.
You're my stylist.
Like,
Style me.
Yeah, you are now my stylist. You're the official stylist of the EBD podcast.
The official stylist of the Wolverine extended universe.
Yeah, so I mean that's where it's at.
Excuse me, madam. Do you have any head polish in here?
Beverly. So that's what I think about that.
Do you know that I once walked in on my girlfriend and my dad cutting my dad's hair with a Floby, which was quite funny.
Wow, that's weird.
I don't know if I'll ever be the same. I thought it was quite
No,
funny.
I wouldn't be either after that.
Hey, come over here, help me over this fucking vacuum cutter thing. All right.
Oh my God, you do a pretty good impersonation of your dad.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, he is his father's son after
Blip.
all.
Okay, so that's the new thing.
Now, may I say my high level?
No. Before we wrap up haircuts and hysterics,
Let's call
or
it
whatever the
haircuts
fuck.
and high level.
Haircuts and high level. I love it.
Haircuts and hairstyle gripes with Kevin the Voice.
Before we wrap this up, I think we should make griping about hairdressers the official major topic of frustration. Everyone has all these like topics of things that they just like are unacceptable to them and they have Twitter mobs about. We should have Twitter mobs about hairstylists.
Yes, there you go.
And it should just be like a constant barrage of people putting photos up of like their bad haircuts, and we should all be very sympathetic and cancel people that give bad haircuts because fuck it.
Oh, canceling, definitely.
Wow.
Let's cancel those fucking barbers, man.
Cancel them because it's completely irrational and not a good thing to do.
Just plain uncool.
So I am canceling your hairdresser, Ben, even though she gave you a good haircut, because that's
Nice.
how irrational I'm being about this mullet.
That is not acceptable.
So yeah, what's your high level?
All right, thank you. I already forgot everything because we just went on that whole thing.
Yeah?
I don't remember if I saw this movie a million times. I think I probably saw it a shitload of times when I was younger. I honestly have not watched this in a long fucking time. So I wasn't as like wowed by it from just like a, I don't know, normal reaction perspective or a nostalgia angle. You know, I don't know. I was a little, not meh, but like I was just like watching it and I was like, yeah, this is good. You know, like it's still a great movie. I wasn't just like, oh yeah. So I don't know what the fuck that means, but it was an enjoyable watch for sure. There were a lot of parts I did not remember. That's it. I actually remembered it being kind of crappier than I remember. So like I just seem to remember the whole like Riggs' crazy thing being like a bigger part of it and him like being more crazy, and it was just kind of stupid, but it wasn't. It was really good. Like it's a really well done movie. It's like it works really great as an action movie, a buddy cop movie, and like a drama. You know what I mean? Like it's good.
You pictured like Jim Carrey as Riggs or something?
No, I don't know. I just had this like
That'd be terrible, by the way.
thing in my head of him just always being like doing stupid, crazy things. And I was like, I'm so not in the mood for that. And then I watched it and I was like, oh, it's not really like that.
Yeah.
And he does some stupid, crazy things, but
Yeah, but it's minimal and it's very genuine. Like it feels real when he's doing it, you know? And like the key thing is that, you know, they established that, just to kind of jump right into the movie, I guess, like they established from the beginning why. And it's because he lost his wife, you know, and like the whole scene in the beginning with the gun, I mean, it opens and it's just kind of like, I was like, all right, here we go. Dude hasn't fucking, you know, showered in days, and his mullet was just fucking out of control, man. It was
So
just,
good.
It was everywhere. Like, I mean, Kurt Russell's mullet from Big Trouble, nothing on this mullet. Dalton's mullet, Swayze's mullet from Roadhouse, nothing on this mullet. Like, if
Dude.
all those mullets
Yeah.
got into a ring and fought each other, this mullet would destroy those mullets.
Dude,
Like,
Dalton's mullet from Roadhouse was the like Clydesdale Budweiser commercial, like well-groomed horse mullet. And this is
Yes.
like the ratty kind of,
yeah.
this is like the ratty mutt mullet. This is like
Yeah,
the I
this is
dirt
like
bike in the woods
yeah.
mullet.
This is like I've been sleeping on the beach for 3 days mullet.
Yo, you can't leave Cooksie's T2 mullet out of this fight.
Okay, fair enough. Like that mullet's
No,
definitely
yeah.
got some.
Cookie's T2 mullet is the foster kid mullet for sure. It's the
Yeah,
total
definitely.
foster kid mullet.
So magnificent.
And also very much like the actual mullet that I had when I was 10.
Yeah, because you're a foster kid.
Yeah, because I'm a foster kid, right? So,
Nothing against foster kids. I'm being an asshole.
right, I don't know. Cooksey, I don't even know why he's a foster kid. He's not a foster kid. But anyway.
Because he's a ginger, that's why.
Okay. So anyway, like when the movie opens, you know, I was like, all right, here we go. Like, dude sleeps with a cigarette in his mouth, and he's like all gross and hobbed out and boozed out and crusted with booze, and like, you know, he's like, crack a beer, drink that. I was like, when I saw all that, I was like, oh god, dude, this is just gonna be a fucking 2 hours of torture. I was, because I mean, this is probably
saw
the, you know, this
Mel
is,
Gibson's Chookus, and you suddenly got really bummed out.
yeah. Well, I think Ben, I think this is one of those situations where this was probably one of the first movies that did shit like that, but it's been so many other movies since then. And,
Right.
Obviously like 30 years that like seeing it now, and forgetting that, I was just like, oh my God. I was like, I can't deal with this. And like him like pretending like he's crazy for 2 hours. Like that's what I thought I was in for. And, then we very quickly, get to like, gun in mouth, like I'm upset because my wife died. And like it very quickly changes, which is sort of the point I'm driving at. You know what I mean? And then we see that, there's like a real story here underneath all this shit in this movie. So
Yeah.
that's what makes this.
And then he Mo Larry Curly's some drug dealers. And
Yeah, which is, a little silly, but whatever. Like,
That's funny.
I think that the underlying, like, realness and motivation, you know what I mean, in the story is what makes this movie such a great movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like you said, it's been done a million times since, and it was probably one of the earlier instances of it. But even with the fact that most of the tropes are played out now, the character stuff in this keeps it afloat. I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I remember the opening scene. Let me say it this way. I didn't remember the opening scene, but I remember being a kid and like, I mean, obviously when you're like 12 years old, you're like, wow, boobs, sweet. But I had forgotten about the like drugged out girl jump off the building thing. And like, it's a trope that's been done a billion times. But at the same time, I remember it being quite powerful here. And then I like how it threads its way through with the non-vet buddy stuff. So for an opening scene, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I've got to, here's something. I've got to drop this nugget because it was so damn cool. The actress who played that part,
Amanda Huntsacker.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. The girl that played Amanda Huntsacker insisted on doing the stunt herself, jumping off the building.
It's crazy.
So two things. She trained with, as I read it, legendary stuntman Dar Robinson. And as we know, Dar is the same name as
Darth Maul.
What's his... No, dude.
Beastmaster?
Thank you, Ben. Yes.
Yes.
Guys, so the dude was named... They probably got the name for the character of Beastmaster after this guy. It's probably what happened.
Or Dar from Beastmaster was the stunt coordinator because he didn't go on to any other movies.
Can you imagine if you hired a stuntman to do a movie like this and Mark Singer shows up in like a loincloth?
Yeah, with the panther that's got a painted tiger that has a scope on its head.
Yeah. He's like, I'm ready.
Just jump off the building. It's fine.
And a Gucci ferret purse.
Yeah,
Fine.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. These are my friends, Kodo and Poto. They will fetch us snacks. See, this is already getting better, Chad. All right, so the even cooler part of the nugget is that what they did was they got a giant airbag down on the ground and they painted it like matte painting style to look exactly like the surroundings in the front of the hotel, cars included. And that's that allowed the editor to, hold the take as long as he could before he cut it, which I thought was incredibly cool.
That's super
Because I never
cool.
heard of anything like that.
That's clever, man, especially back in the day, pre-CG.
Right?
Very interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Have you ever seen that black...
The actress is Jackie Swanson.
Sorry, Jerry, go.
Wait, what about Jackie Swanson?
That's the actress that did the jump and played Amanda Huntsacker.
Oh, the name of her.
Mm-hmm.
Just dropping her name as we're talking about her.
That's it, yep.
Yeah, she did a good job. She kind of gave off the, what was that, Strange Days, drugged out Juliette Lewis kind of vibe for a minute there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Have you guys ever seen that black and white photo of the girl that committed suicide in like the, I don't know, 50s or something?
No.
I have to say,
You'd know it if I told you about it.
no.
No, actually, I don't.
I'm injecting. Have you guys ever heard of there's like a photo from the 50s of some woman who jumped off a building and like landed on a car? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
No, sir.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'll send it over. It's in WhatsApp. I'll make it the chapter art or whatever. I bring it up because it totally it's like I definitely think they took inspiration from this for that. for that opening scene.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Dude, that's real?
Yeah, so this woman, her name's Evelyn McHale. 1947. So in 1947, she was engaged, and the guy broke off the engagement, and she jumped off a building and landed on a car. And this kid who was a photography student was just kind of in the area and just snapped this photo. And it's just a really crazy. It's a beautiful photograph, but it's a suicide. It's the craziest photo ever. And the way that they kind of set up the shot for the Hunsaker girl hitting the car reminded me a lot of this photo. So it's a weird little cul-de-sac, but it's quite a striking photo.
Definitely. Thanks for sharing that morbid piece of nostalgia.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude?
I mean, do you get what I'm saying though? It's a beautiful photo, but it's fucked up too, you know?
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a yikes.
No, it's related, dude. I mean, that's exactly what we were just talking about, was that scene in the movie.
That's Morbid Corners with Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
Well, a new section of the show, Chad shows us dead people.
Snuff photos with C-Lab.
Yeah, I would have to say they probably took some inspiration from that.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe they did.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right, let's springboard off of that into something else.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Let's just boing on out of there and straight to Dixie.
Yeah, Dixie, right. So, oh my God.
All dressed up and nowhere to
You know
blow.
how
That
it
was
is.
great. No one to blow.
all dressed up and no one to blow.
So, it's dude, ouch.
Yeah, yeah, that was really funny.
Well, for a minute, he's like, yeah, let her go. And she's like, oh, thanks. And then just drops that one on her. It's like an atom bomb.
No, I love how she's like, oh yeah, and I saw the whole thing, and then she just walks away, and she's like, later. And they're not they don't hold her or anything like that,
I think Murta actually tells one of the other guys to bring her home.
Okay.
She's like, oh, thanks. You know how it is. And he's like, yeah, all dressed up, no one to blow. What a line.
Yeah, he's got a lot of lines like that. I mean, I don't know. There's I don't know. I just feel like there's I feel like there's just a lot of him getting frazzled and running around and just saying crazy shit and acting crazy.
Yeah, he was the crazy one, man.
You know what I mean, dude? Murtaugh is the one. I just feel like a lot of the scenes, everything just gets upside down. He's like, hey, get that out of my face. Get away from me. Get that thing out of my face.
Or when he's talking to himself in the car,
Yeah.
This is my birthday. I'm gonna fucking, this guy's coming. He's crazy. He's fucking jumping up buildings. He's just like, all right, man, take a deep
Just
breath.
muttering to himself.
Yeah, it's angry muttering.
50 years old. What a birthday. Got 50 years old.
Yeah.
Been on the force 20 years. Not a scrap.
Exactly.
Good stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel I've always kind of felt for, I love Danny Glover, man.
Yeah.
We have a lot. He's a friend of the show. We adore him here. And this is it's such an iconic role for him. And I don't know, I guess getting to the age I'm at now, where I am in my life, I just totally relate to, everything that he's going through in this, his daughter telling him that he's getting gray in his beard. It's then the saxophone music comes on, It's certain things have happened to me in my life recently and that are similar. And then I hear that saxophone music in my head.
That's what I was just picturing, dude. I was picturing you running around a job site, talking crazy, doing the crazy, Murtaugh muttering, dude.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of my face.
Yeah,
We
pretty much.
We should get you one of those little keychains that plays sounds and program it to have different sax solos in it.
There you go. No, a little Mr. T in your pocket kind of thing where it has 6 buttons on it and it each plays
Exactly.
All of them say, get too old for this shit.
Yep. I completely forgot that the getting too old for this shit was so early in the movie with the mistaking Riggs for a fucking criminal in the middle of a police station scene, I thought it was much later.
I got to interject here with a nugget, dude. He doesn't actually. This is very much like when we did Conan, and I was certain, and possibly Ben too, that he goes boom bada why, but he doesn't. And he also he doesn't say that in the movie. I was reading about this. He says, "I'm too old for this shit." he doesn't actually say I'm getting too old for this shit until the second movie.
Right.
I was just going to say that the too old for this shit thing is like a staple of all of the movies. So
Totally.
Right.
But I mean, you know, by the beginning of the second one, it's getting old already. Maybe.
too old for this shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Got a wife, kid, house, and a boat.
Because the other major kind of trope for this series is the Joe Pesci. Okay.
They fuck you at the drive-thru. Whatever you want, Leo gets.
Get it?
Okay.
I love Pesci, but fuck, he's an annoying character in these series of movies.
Yeah, he is.
He definitely is.
I mean, I haven't seen the other ones in forever either, man. I don't remember a lot of them.
I just feel I kind of like before we move on from Glover's gray beard, I have to just like I don't know if it's a gripe, but like what the fuck was up with the entire family coming in while the dude's naked in the bathtub with a birthday cake? Like that was just fucking weird, man.
Definitely weird.
And like the 16, 17-year-old girl being like, I love you, daddy. Put your sponge over your pee-pee. Like it was just the weirdest thing. Like he's just sitting there. There's no fucking suds in that bathtub. It's just like it was just the weirdest
there's
thing.
not. I'm feeling awkward right now, and the fact that
Oh, Dad, you got some gray in your pubes.
what even? Oh, dude,
Exactly.
no,
It's
no,
so fucked
stop,
up.
dude. Because when Chad said, "Dad, cover your pee-pee," that bit that was weirder than what actually happened in the movie.
Yeah, but it's like it just was a weird scene. I think like if there had been a whole bunch of suds in the tub, one, it would have been weird that you have a bubble bath by yourself in the morning before work. But two, it would have made it a much less awkward scene.
Yeah, it is a weird scene for sure.
I don't know about you, but I have bubble baths before work.
What? For real?
Happy birthday to you.
No, not for real.
Who the hell has time to take a full bath before work?
Let alone a bubble bath.
Let alone a bubble bath.
Look, some people like to take bubble baths in the morning, okay? What's so weird about that?
I think people that like to take bubble baths in the morning are the same type of people that talk you down off your mullet ledge at the hairdresser.
Oh my God.
That's what I think.
So what else let's talk about Danny Glover for a second then. Because I haven't really talked about him. I mean, we talked about him in
Predator 2 that you forgot we did.
Well, exactly. Yeah, Predator 2. So him and Gary Busey are in Predator 2. We talked about him in that. I feel like we didn't really do any kind of crazy deep dive, though. Of course, I'm probably completely wrong, as I was the other week.
He's just awesome. He's I don't know. He's like one of my favorite actors of that era, for sure. Probably because of the amount of times I saw the Lethal Weapon movies and Predator 2.
Sure.
He came off of Color Purple, which I thought was interesting. You know, Color Purple is not a buddy cop action movie. And
No.
I like that they saw him in that. And we're like, let's put him in this movie. It's pretty cool.
It is. It is.
What else has he been in besides Lethal Weapon and
Sorry.
Predator? I can't think of anything.
This
This is kind of his like most well-known role, really.
I don't know. If I looked at a list of films, I'd probably be like, "Oh, right," But
Honestly, a lot of why I love Danny Glover is just because of this movie.
Yeah.
And, like Kevin, you were talking about, like you feel like he's always like hollering at at Riggs and like he's always muttering to himself and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just so good at all of that, like it just flows out of him in this way that's like really this kind of humorous, like
yeah.
you could play it wrong and he doesn't, for sure. He's just like he's excellent.
He's super lovable too, I think.
Yeah,
He's just
that's what we needed.
He's such a good dad, like I love how it's almost like a sitcom-y dad gets dropped into an action movie in a way, but not at the same time, He's such a lovable dude. He seems so genuine in his dadness.
Yeah.
Am I sensing a possible replacement for your current dad?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I had forgotten about his role as the archaeologist in the Royal Tenenbaums, which is one of my favorite movies, and he comes in and supplants Gene Hackman as the dad. So maybe he'll come in and him and Sly will have a back and forth, and I'd watch that. I think Sly and Danny Glover paired up would be a good pairing.
There you go, man.
But yeah, I agree, Benny. I think this movie is kind of where my Danny Glover love comes from. And then there's like the total bonus of Predator 2, which I have such a soft spot for, as discussed in that episode.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's so crazy and over the top in Predator 2, but that movie's so crazy. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess, I don't know. I really like what Ben said. Like, yeah, he does do it so well, and he's really likable. And it's like, if you put anybody else in it, like, would it be as good? Probably not, because he's so good. He can, do all of those things. And I think that the funny bits and the running around yelling at people and the muttering and all that shit kind of overshadows, or rather, it's better to say that stuff can easily pull your focus away from like the other moments in the movie that are really good and really dramatic. And he's able to tackle those just as handily as he is the other bits. You know what I mean? And that's what makes him so great. And as I started talking about in the beginning, this movie's so great. You know what I mean? Because it's got all of those elements together. And it's the quality of the actors in the script that really bring the whole thing to life. And Danny Glover is a huge freaking part of that, obviously,
Yeah, it's a very relatable character. It's very, he's just kind of like, he's sort of like your lens into the movie, like he's just sort of a normal guy. Like he's this great dad and he's got this great family life and all of that. But, also he's clearly like a pretty good cop. And like,
yeah,
like he's sort of like, he sort of seems like the focal point, really, or he's like your window into the movie, really. You're sort of seeing it through his eyes, or you know what I mean?
I was going to pose the question to you, Ben. Like, do you feel like the movie is really kind of through his POV the whole time? I mean, it kind of is, right?
It kind of is, It's kind of centralized around Murtaugh, really. I mean, you're opening it up. You're opening up on him in the bathtub, etc. It turns out that like he actually knows, Amanda Hunsaker's dad, and like all of that. Like he's like related to all of this. He's like, kind of really intertwined in the story in a deep way.
Yeah, and like from like a side angle too, which is interesting.
Yeah, and Riggs is just kind of like the crazy outlier character
Add on, yeah,
that spices the whole thing up. It kind of got like a bit of a this is a weird analogy, but like a tag team wrestling vibe from some of the story here, where at some stage Murtaugh would be kind of taking the lead on stuff, and then like Murtaugh would kind of get over his head a bit, and then Riggs would kind of tag in and sort things out. Like I think the most obvious example is like later in the movie when Murtaugh's tied up and getting the shit kicked out of him while his daughter's there, and like Riggs comes in at the last minute and stops it. I kind of like how the two guys kind of played off each other in the sense that like it was kind of rare that they were both blasting at the same time. It was kind of like one of them was taking the lead or the other one was taking the lead, or one of them was saving the other or whatever. And I don't know, for some reason I think that structure worked really well because it maintained the focus on Murtaugh. It maintained that Murtaugh was
right.
was the through line.
Well, it also showed that, both of their strengths as well.
Yeah,
it didn't
that's
like
true.
diminish. Well, I mean, it's, I don't know, kind of the opposite of what you're saying, but it kind of, that dynamic doesn't diminish either one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It seems like a good transition into Riggs.
We're in Riggs territory. I mean, again, I started talking about this before. I just could not get over his fucking hair, man. It was so just crazy, man. Like I'm actually being serious. Like the mullet was so robust and so like, it's hard to put into words. Like, okay, if you had a mullet and the mullet started to grow,
A mullet.
it would turn into something else eventually. It would turn into long hair. This feels different, okay? Like, so clearly this is a hair spell from the Necronomicon of hair underneath Blaine's, because it's like the mullet was large and just at times felt like it was getting larger and more crazy, but it somehow never turned into like long hair like a rocker would have. You know what I mean? It was still a mullet. Like, I don't know, man. It was definitely enchanted.
It had an enchantment on it.
It's like a short version of hair metal hair, really.
Kinda, yeah. Oh, dude, you know whose hair it almost kind of looks like? His fucking what's his face? Murderface.
Murderface. Kind of.
Murderface, eh?
You have failed again.
I'm not feeling that.
Nah,
Exactly. That's why I said you have failed, meaning me.
you go to hell and you die. Murdered by Murderface.
I guess it's kind of Murderface.
All right, maybe it's not Murderface, but you know what I mean? Like the mullet is just like it's its own presence in the movie, man. I mean, don't you feel that? Like, how could you not take your eyes off the thing? It's just so fucking crazy, man.
It's its own chapter in the show.
It's epic.
I kind of feel like the leading men of this era were not actually leading men. They were leading mullets. And the only way you could become a leading man is if some studio exec was like, I approve of that mullet. And then they made you into a star like Swayze.
Yeah, it's almost like they hired the mullet and then the man just came with it underneath the mullet.
And all the mere mortals were fooled into thinking that they were the heartthrobs, but the heartthrob was actually the hairdo.
Wow, that's heavy. Yeah, I'm with it. I don't know.
Murtaugh's daughter was definitely feeling it.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, dude. She was definitely feeling it.
My sister's named Sherry. She's in love with this guy named Martin.
That rap scene was so funny, dude. Oh, man.
It is one of my favorite parts of the movie for sure.
No doubt.
What, the rap thing?
The whole family plays that perfectly.
Yeah, that was good. That was definitely like a nobody understands what rap is moment, from the 80s, because there were so many of them.
It was perfect. I like how it was like, let's talk about Riggs, and it's only been about his hairdo. We haven't actually spoken about Mel Gibson or Riggs at all. It was nice to see. It was nice to see a young Mel Gibson, pre Crazy Town Mel Gibson.
Sure, but I mean, I just want to reinforce that I was that taken by the hairdo.
So you want to talk about the hairdo for a third time? Is that what you're saying?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think you've understated it, Kev.
I don't
Okay,
think so.
all right, fine.
I don't think you understated it either.
Right. As long as you're seeing that, we can move on.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll put up, instead of a meme, we'll just put up a quiz this week that has, do you think Kev thoroughly covered his astonishment with Mel Gibson's mullet in this episode?
Did he overdo it?
Yes or no?
Underdo it.
I think so Riggs, Mel Gibson, young, sexy, mulleted Mel Gibson.
It's not a good place to stall out, dude. Like, were you just like daydreaming?
I am trying so hard, man. I am so trying so hard.
He played just the right amount of crazy here.
Agreed.
And I think I smeared this movie and the second movie together. I totally thought Renee Russo was in this movie, but
no, dude.
Negative.
She doesn't come around to the third movie, dude.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, because the blondie South African chick was the squeeze from the second one.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And the guy from
Diplomatic Immunity.
Yes, the guy from freaking Hunt for Red October was in that movie. Was in that
Sean
one.
Connery?
No, Dick.
Alec Baldwin?
Yes, Mel, I'm taking this franchise over.
Yes, I'm taking over all the movies.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
No, the freaking old South African guy. He was in Hunt for Red October.
Okay.
Oh my God, nothing. All right, move on. Jesus,
I'm not.
I don't remember him. I'm
right
sorry.
now. It's been a while since I've
How
seen
could
that
you
movie.
not
too,
remember
so-
that, Chad? Chad,
know.
especially.
I'll look him up. Which guy?
Well, I don't recall that.
Oh my God, son, the Russians don't take a dump without a plan.
Oh, that guy?
No, that was Fred Thompson, the freaking Russian ambassador guy. Fucking just forget it, dude. Jesus Christ, man. It's so blown up in my face. Like, there's not only is there shrapnel in my face, I'm bleeding profusely. And Chad's like, wait, this guy who's commanding the ship? Like, no, dude. Forget it. I've died 10 times in this terrible retelling. God, this is such a disaster.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Sorry I didn't remember Sam Neill, dude.
It's all right. Wait, Sam Neill? No, dude, not Sam Neill. Where did you get that from? Holy shit.
Oh my
I
god!
call this the hunt for my asshole death. Jesus.
Next week's meme is going to be a picture of Sam Neill in Hunt for Red October, and it's just going to say diplomatic immunity underneath it. Diplomatic immunity with a hyphen. Sean Connery. Oh god!
Oh, that's good stuff.
It's like a passing side reference. Jesus Christ. All right, so
That's the best part of the show right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Come for the content, stay for the stupidity.
That's it.
Yes. How many brain cells do you think are floating around between the three of us tonight?
Like fucking
are there even
7
three
max? All right, so
Mel Gibson,
yeah,
Martin Riggs.
Mel Gibson, folks.
Hey, look, while we're on the topic of Mel Gibson, we need to talk about his mullet.
Great idea, Chad.
Have we talked about his mullet in this yet?
Dude, it was such a good mullet.
So, okay, we actually left off at Renee Russo was not in this movie. Diplomatic immunity.
In another attempt to escape talking about this movie and start talking about one of the other Lethal Weapon movies. The third time in the podcast that's happened.
I just remember Mel Gibson. I don't know. At the time, he was like, maybe this is blasphemy on this podcast, but he was like a Bruce Willis. Like he was like a big star, man. Maybe it's just because I watched the Lethal Weapon movies more than I watched any other movies, but I remember him being like a fucking megastar.
Well, he was.
Indeed, he was.
It's just I find it interesting that we haven't covered him yet, and obviously he went off the deep end a little bit for a while there, whatever. But between this and I don't know.
I mean, he's had a redemption arc since his
he seems to have
craziness, hasn't he? Like, didn't Robert Downey Jr. take him under his wing and kind of
had who take him under his wing?
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
which is weird because they were in Air America together.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mel went off the deep end and then he went to like rehab for a while. And when he came out of rehab, like I think Robert Downey Jr. was like sponsoring his sobriety or whatever, and he kind of like
that's cool,
took him under his wing and sort of reintroduced him to society, as it were.
Yeah, right. That's great. I didn't know that.
I might be misremembering that completely, but I think that was the case.
That sounds like it could be true.
Because he had some great ones, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. For what I just maybe I was the right age for it, but like Payback and Conspiracy Theory, all of his Lethal Weapon movies, did a lot of directing.
Yeah, Conspiracy Theory. Wait, Conspiracy Theory was good. That had Patrick Stewart in it too, if I remember correctly.
Did it?
No, it reminds me of the time at the Academy.
There you go. Yeah, Conspiracy Theory was good. I've never seen Payback, but it always looked
Payback's
like
good.
I should watch it.
I don't know if it would hold up now, but at the time it was just like a fun revenge movie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he kind of made his comeback in the Expendables, dude. Like he was in the third one as the villain.
I haven't seen any of those.
You should.
I love Mel Gibson. I'm glad he's doing better.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of great stuff. I mean, obviously the Mad Max movies were fantastic, man, especially the Road Warrior, but the Empire Strikes Back of the Mad Max movies.
Indeed,
right? So
Tina
yeah,
Turner,
tons of great stuff.
Master Blaster.
Yeah, Tina Turner. There you go. So lots of great stuff, but this is probably, I don't know, I guess this might be like his most iconic thing, maybe? Yeah?
Probably.
For me, it's much the same as Danny Glover. Yeah, I think it's probably the movie I most associate Mel with.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would make a strong argument for Mad Max, but
well, they can do that. It doesn't sway me.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to think of him more as Riggs.
Definitely.
And Braveheart. I mean, Braveheart's pretty fucking iconic.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. That's how blown out I am tonight. I just can't remember shit. Yeah, Braveheart was really good.
If it'd make you feel any better, we could talk about his mullet and Braveheart. I feel like the last member of the trio here is Busey, man. I mean, I appreciate a lot of the other cast in this movie, but they're all kind of just bit parts other than Busey.
Yeah, dude, this is like a super tight Gary Busey performance.
No
he's
doubt.
he's one of those dudes, like, he's got that unpredictable quality to him, and he just, like, never know, you know? And it really serves him well in this, because he really plays it tight, but, like, you can just tell there's something crazy lurking underneath there, you know? And it's like, it's all, like, tightly controlled, but he just, he really dials it in well, you know? Very menacing.
Yeah, his Aryan stone cold fucking mercenary thing here just worked so well.
Yeah, it's one of the he's not unhinged in this at all. He's very like calm and collected.
Yeah.
And that definitely has a different effect, you know. I feel like he's usually a little more over the top in movies and not so in this one.
That's a great point, actually. He's just like...
It almost makes you uneasy, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Because you're kind of expecting him to be, and he's not. So, like, adds a dimension to the character, you know?
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I hadn't considered that. I mean, it's pretty obvious once you say it, but he definitely is way more wild in most of his other stuff. So he's, like, super tight, you know, all buttoned up here. Culminating in that last, I love the final fight scene where he's just like, you want to have a go at the title, you know, and this is two special forces dudes just kind of being like, let's spar, you know. It's great, so good.
Yeah, no, it was really good, man. Very like very polished character, you know.
And the
he
lighter
did it
scene
well,
too, man.
What?
That lighter scene is, I think, a good
yeah
proper
but
intro.
I think too, I don't know, he's just really this is a great, because like he kind of credits this movie as the movie that kind of saved his failing movie career, you know, and I don't know, it really showcases like his range, because like we've seen him act crazy in so many, like, you know, like Point Break, for Christ's sake, you know, like he's just, you know, this kind of blown out, you know, FBI guy, and this is just like, it's super slick and super tight, and it really allows you to get a taste of the guy's real talent and his real ability and range. There you go.
Well said.
I mean, 91 Point Break, 90 Predator 2, and 87 Lethal Weapon. Like, that's a pretty solid trio of movies for this dude. Those would definitely be the three movies that I know him for. Yeah, he's obviously probably been in a bunch of other stuff, but he's not as buttoned up in Predator 2 as he is in this. Like, he plays a similar kind of soldier, but I feel like this one's like really cold, and I like it. I like how cold he is here.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely vibe with the menacing description.
Yeah, he's got some interesting stuff in this. One thing that's jumping out in mind is when Murtaugh goes to the desert to meet up with them and like get his daughter back, and like he basically calls bullshit on Murtaugh with his grenade. Like,
yeah,
that whole scene was kind of like a pretty good illustration of like what the character was all about, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Just calls his bluff, and yeah, the whole thing falls apart, but he pulls it all right back together.
Yeah, it really does, man. That was an interesting scene. Like, it makes sense from a movie, you know, action-y movie kind of thing, but just like Glover driving along, letting Riggs out of the car. He's doing his like super soldier run through the desert, and then I really dug the helicopter kind of flying over the two cars. And as soon as that happens, you're just like, fuck, man, they're fucked. Like, you get Murtaugh there with a freaking smoke grenade and a pistol, and there's like a helicopter and fucking a bunch of mercs. It's not going to go overly well. And you're right, it does fall apart real fucking quick.
Yeah, they got a lot of mileage out of that helicopter.
They really did. But I dug it. It was just, I don't know, something so cool about it.
They used it well. You know what I mean? Like, I like that. I don't know. Like, especially the desert part, I think, is what I'm talking about mostly. But
yeah, it was interesting. Whoever that was a hell of a pilot.
Yeah, right. And chasing the limo with the daughter.
It's completely impossible, but one of those scenes I'm thinking of is like when they just come up from seemingly out of nowhere from like the cliffside or whatever, and shoot Huntsacker through his eggnog there.
Although he's just pounding eggnog.
It just kind of comes out of nowhere, you know. It's just like, all of a sudden there it is, like, but you know, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, totally not plausible,
like,
but totally cool at the same time. The idea of the Air America soldiers smuggling heroin thing was, I don't know, it's like it was kind of cool to have a reasonable, menacing plot there. Usually it's just like some drug kingpin fuckhead who wants to take over the territory. I thought it was kind of cool that it all tied back to Vietnam and stuff.
Yes, I definitely dug that too. Now that you're saying that, like, the whole like crime lord, drug lord thing was just, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's so fucking done to death. But like to have it be like, I mean, because those things are allegedly, well, I mean, maybe not even allegedly true, you know, about the CIA smuggling heroin out of, you know, Vietnam and all of this sort of shit. You know what I mean? So to like tie that in and have like, you know, these kind of good guys turn bad guys, you know, like, and to have them all be like ex special forces makes them another level of like scary and menacing. You know what I mean? Because they're all highly skilled combatants and killers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Mercury switches, Kev. Mercury switches.
Mercury switches, bro.
Exactly.
Artwork.
Dude. Those kids, you're gonna bust sexy. You're gonna bust sexy. That was such a great scene, man. Those kids are great, man. Fuck.
It was really good. The kids were great, and Danny Glover was really great in that.
What's your name?
Don't tell him your name, Alfie.
Yeah, I feel like in general, the Lethal Weapon movies do I don't know how plausible, but a decent job of coming up with some like, you know, heavier shit for the baddies of the movie. You know, it's like some deeper shit than just like you said, you know, the drug dealer or whatever, you know, like the average like crime boss or whatever.
Yeah, no, it was it makes the stakes higher, you know what I mean? And it makes it more adds to the, you know, ratchets the tension up a couple notches for sure.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, in theory, they're just cops, so they're kind of swinging above their whatever that metaphor is.
swinging above their weight.
There you go. That's the one I was trying to say.
You know, I just realized it, but one thing I like about this movie is there's no constant fucking arguing with the captain bullshit trope.
Oh, thank God.
No, there's like none of it.
I totally didn't realize it, but it's great. You know, so often it's just like that fucking getting screamed at in the captain's office or whatever, and there's just none of that here. They just keep doing their thing.
No, but that guy that played the captain was in a bunch of movies. He played a cop in about a zillion movies, I feel like. And then you have this is our second movie with Tom Atkins. The first being, of course, Escape from New York. That's how long it took me to remember that.
Right, yeah. I was almost going to say Raw Deal, and I was like, no, that's not it.
No. Tom Atkins was, I remember we talked about him a lot in that episode because he was just constantly chain smoking. It was always like, time for a smoke break. You did no smoking in this movie. But it was good to see him, and he was really good as Hunziker, you know, and he really kind of, I don't know, even though the whole, like, you know, the guy dies right when he's about to spill the beans on the whole thing, kind of trope, like, I don't know. It was, for some reason, the way they did it in this one was good, and I wasn't, like, rolling my eyes. And then the guy that played the general, McAllister, Mitchell Ryan, I don't know, I know that guy's been around forever, but he's the thing I remember him the most from is the stuffy old douchey law firm guy from fucking Liar Liar with Jim Carrey.
Okay. I don't recognize him from anything.
Oh man, yeah. And Jim Carrey, like, because he can't lie, and this other woman catches on to it. He's like, tell Mr. Allen what you think of him, and he just fucking goes off on the dude, and it ends up working in his favor or whatever. It's funny. Just cut that part out because that was stupid.
He was. I totally like recognized the guy, but I couldn't. I can't place him. That's funny. I love how it's a Liar Liar though. We have Bits and Bobs. Where are we at? Must be.
I think Bits and Bobs is fine because that's going to get us going, talking about parts of the movie or parts of the plot or whatever. So
yeah, I agree. We can have it be an extended cut, Bits and Bobs, a director's cut.
Well, extended cut Bits and Bobs this week on EBD. All right, so just before we start that, did we forget any other major cast members that we need to like actually talk about?
Daughter does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
I love Murtaugh's wife. She's awesome.
Yeah, sure. The mom, yeah. Wait, who's awesome?
Trish Murtaugh, Darlene Love, Murtaugh's wife.
Oh, dude, she was. Were you getting kind of a Claire Huxtable vibe from her, man?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, right. Not that she really looks like her. I just felt like I don't know. She just kind of had the same kind of vibe going. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, she's very, very motherly.
Yeah, I mean that in a like complimentary way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And she's a terrible cook.
Which is
hilarious.
Murtaugh finally admits it at the end.
We have a house of brown roast.
Like, nothing against the cast. I think it's a solid cast. It's just very bit party, you know?
Roast. Ugh. So vague sounding, dude. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, what's for dinner? Brown roast. Mm-mm. Yummy.
He's like, he looks in and he's like, we have a brown. She's like, it's a roast.
You know he's going to say a giant brown turd.
There's that psychologist lady who was in a million movies.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bother to bring her up, but yeah, you're right.
Goonies and Die Hard and stuff.
Yes, Goonies, totally. And she was the mom in Goonies, and she was, yes, in Die Hard, also a Jill Silver movie. And she was talking to the captain about how Riggs was crazy. I think that's why I was getting a bad taste in my mouth in the beginning, too.
Captain, Riggs is crazy.
There you go. What's the deal with Riggs? So, like,
What's the deal with Riggs?
So bits and bobs, I think. I think we can cover some ground there.
All right, fine. You win. Bits and bobs.
And I think you were just touching on that scene that I would be a worthy bit and or bob, which is Murtaugh bringing Riggs home for the first time and like being that guy like who's like shit talking his wife to kind of impress the new friend, and she's just like, "Fuck you, man," you know, like smacks him on the ass. Is like, "You're being an asshole." I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, totally. And then he's like, "Oh, by the way, your daughter wants to bang me."
Right? You touch her, I'll kill you.
Definitely not awkward. That was about as awkward as finding out that Olivia Dabo is 13 at the end of the episode.
Creepster. I feel like that boat scene is pretty classic. Like that same kind of segment. They're hanging out in the back of the boat drinking beers. Like that's such an iconic scene for whatever reason.
Riggs gets to one up Murtaugh like yet another time. Like,
yeah, right.
Obviously, like Murtaugh has no idea like what to do with the boat.
Yeah, I don't know. My recollection was Riggs was living in a boat, but nope, it was a trailer on the beach.
I think it's one of the other movies he is.
Trailer on the beach, buddy.
Yeah, no, one of the other movies he is though, right?
I think so. Yeah, because I recall the same thing.
I'll jump in here. The whole jumping off the roof with the guy that's trying to commit suicide, and then like the whole subsequent like shouting match in the abandoned store or whatever.
Yeah,
like, some pretty good stuff there.
There's some great stuff there. The dude on the roof, man, I love that guy. He just like he's like overdoing it, but it works perfectly. And
yeah, he's like kind of a tweaker, dude.
Yeah, he's totally a tweaker.
He was definitely coked up.
Yeah,
right. I think he might be maybe a runner-up contender for that Delta City fucking showdown, coke off with Boddicker and
yeah, he would definitely be in one of the rounds, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And Hans Buby would be there too, man, I reckon. He'd do well with the coke. Yes,
Hans Buby. Yes. I love how the guy's name isn't Ellis anymore. It's Hans Buby.
No, it's Hans Buby. I particularly enjoyed, obviously when I was a kid, I enjoyed the whole like, fuck it, let's just handcuff together and jump off. But at the bottom where he's like, this guy's fucking crazy, man. It's just like, bro, you were trying to kill yourself just because he pushed you to the limit. It's fucking, that's your problem, not his problem.
Exactly.
And then, yeah, like you said, I think the most surprising part of not the most surprising part, but I really enjoyed how Murtaugh eggs him on in that abandoned building to like shoot himself, and he like pretty much does. And the meat of Murtaugh's like between Murtaugh's thumb and finger is what stops the hammer from blowing the fucking gun. He's like, you are crazy, dude, or you are trying to fucking kill yourself. I like the way they sold that. That's a great little chunk.
It was. One thing I did not like was that they did a full-on title drop in this movie.
What do you mean?
When he's like, we're going to have to register you as a lethal weapon.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude.
Really? He's going over the whole, his file or whatever with him.
Yeah, the old, like, let's run down the dossier segment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that much anymore in movies, the title drop. But I think, like, my version of that.
Rated 9mm, 15 in the clip, 1 in the pipe.
God, dude, you sound more like him every time you do it. You were up there and dang bang a sang gong, right? Sorry, that was stupid.
Kind of sounded like Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic
Thunder. You missed the mark completely, but sounded like somebody else to a T. A little nugget about the first sort of crazy scene with the Three Stooges thing with the Christmas trees. One of the thugs there.
Snipe.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Anthony Kiedis' dad.
Yeah, that's cool.
I sniped Chad's nuggets.
Snipe my nugs, dude. You sunk my battleship.
You sank my battleship.
Also, it's the bits and bobs section, not the nuggets section.
Yeah.
True, but we all agreed that we would be dropping the nuggets throughout the episodes.
We did,
didn't freaking backload them into one thing at the end.
I like the scene where they pull up on, I don't know how they make the connection to the porn guy or whatever, but they go up to his gate and the lady comes out in the moped. It's like, oh, hey guys, go on in. And I love that there's like a couple of swimsuit models cutting up coke, and then the dude just blasts a shotgun. Because I remember that scene where he gets popped and goes into the pool and wraps up in plastic. That was, for whatever reason, a pretty visual scene that I always kind of stuck in my mind as a kid.
Yeah.
I
told you not to kill him.
I forgot about that. That was kind of freaky, actually.
They
but
both jump
again,
in,
like the
suck it
beginning of
wet.
it's kind of stupid because they're just like, "Hey, can we ask you some questions?" Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the shotgun dude kind of has a point because they just saw like a kilo of coke on the table. So it's not like it's going to go well from there.
Fair point.
And we just came to ask you some questions. Oh, that's fine. Go ahead and keep chopping your coca. That's okay.
Nah, that's cool. Yeah, no. Just,
You keep on doing what you're doing.
Why was the guy cross-eyed when he died, though? That's what I don't understand.
yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I didn't notice that.
It's underwater. Maybe it's just one of those things. They kind of had some of that where some of the shots were weird. The jumping off the roof one in particular, when they jump off the roof, the handcuffs aren't connected or whatever. I kind of feel like they had a few of those moments in the movie. So maybe that's the only footage they had or something. It was kind of weird.
I feel like that was, they're like, yeah, make it look like you're dead, And that was
He's just like, doy! Crosses his ass,
exactly.
yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, you sniped one of my bobs there. So
Which one?
Ooh, a bob snipe.
with that one, yeah.
Oh, with the pool dude. Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't. That's this is the first time we've had a bob snipe, dude. That's pretty great.
There's the inverse Last Boy Scout nugget. Not nugget. The inverse Last Boy Scout bits and bob, where the scene with the dude from Big Trouble with the sponges in the battery.
Oh, dude, yes. Al Leong.
Your favorite actor in the world.
Totally. I never get his name right either. I always say it like that, exactly like that. He has a couple lines in this one, man. Yeah, he plays Endo. He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good to see that Al finally got some well-deserved lines.
It wasn't just snagging M&Ms out of the glass case.
Right? And he was also, wasn't he in Black Rain as well?
I think he was for a millisecond.
Yeah, he was for a millisecond. He's in everything. Anyway, okay, next Bobbity Bob. Go ahead.
Bad guys. There's no one here but us good guys driving the cop car through the house.
Yeah, that was
final
pretty funny.
fight stuff, man. The final fight with all the
final fight
rain
was
was just
good.
fucking great.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. For
Especially with another helicopter shining a light down.
Yeah, the entire police force being there, spectating seemed kind of implausible, but
Yeah, it was a little weird, for sure.
They kind of tried to sell
I
it,
take
though.
full responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Rick, get him.
And all these, you could totally see other cops. Like, he just shot two of our guys. You can see other cops. He's like, all right, I'll watch this guy fight the fucking shit out of this guy. Cool.
Yeah, and it's not rain. It's the
Fire
fucking
hydrant.
fire hydrant is knocked off. Yeah,
It's a pretty
Yes, that was
iconic
good.
fight scene.
Yeah, it's kind of poorly shot, but I mean, it was very hard to tell what the hell was going on through a lot of it.
Yeah, it was very
They were
transforming.
doing a lot of weird jump cuts during punches and stuff.
Yeah, there was some jump cuts, but there was some good shots that were like far enough out. You know what I mean? That I felt it was pretty solid in terms of like its overall rating as a fight scene. You know what I mean?
I think it was more about the emotion of it than the
Yes.
carefully trying to carefully film the whatever the action. Less about that, more about the emotion of it, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man, and you're right about that. That is exactly what it's about, and that comes through nicely.
I also love that they both shoot him.
Yeah, totally.
Anything else?
Yeah, I totally forgot about this one until just now. But the shooting range scene, man, I love the shooting range scene. That's such a classic.
Yeah. Yes. Have a nice day.
It's just so good, man. Fucking Murtaugh's so proud. Center mass. I got my center mass. And fucking pushes the button and it goes out like 20 feet.
Just get warmed up.
Like, I just love the look on Murtaugh's face when Riggs just like has the thing all the way at the back. Like his face just changes. He's like, are you really going that far? Oh, okay. That is just one of my favorite scenes from a buddy cop movie ever from years and years and years ago. It was delightful to see it again. Nuggets test ratings?
Nuggets indeed. Yeah, let's do it. I got a couple nugs.
Well, you sunk my battleship, so why don't you go first and sink my other battleship?
Okay. This was probably I read a couple of really interesting ones. There's a shitload of them out there, but the one I really liked was that the Beretta that he used was the same one that...
Fuck you, dude. God damn it.
I knew it. Eat shit, dude.
I love how you just like 1-2 punched both of my nuggets.
Fuck yeah. 1-2 punch, dude. Yeah, it was the same Beretta that McClane used. Both Joel Silver movies. How about that, huh?
Pretty cool.
Go ahead. Or did you have another or no?
No, you son of a bitch.
Freaking son of a bitch. Well, now you know what it's like.
I have a rare nugget.
Yes. We'll get it out there before Mulvey fucking steals it.
A rare Higo nugget. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but Lucy Naff, the woman that played Dixie.
Oh,
yes.
Played the three-breasted prostitute in Total Recall.
No way.
Oh, stop, dude. Nice.
Yeah. She was also in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, I love that even better.
That is a fucking nugget, my friend.
Hold the phone on that nugget, dude. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm just looking at a picture of her, man. She is totally the chick from Total Recall.
Did you doubt me?
Nope.
He always has to fucking fact check us, Benny.
Oh, fuck off, dude. No, that's not it. It was because when I saw her in the movie, I was like, and you said that, I was like, no, she doesn't look like that chick, man, you know?
I love it. That's a great nugget.
She's renowned for 3 breasts. They're real. Okay, so, hang on a second.
Were you reading more?
Of course, dude. Just to fucking piss you off. No. Like I said, there were a lot of great nuggets about this movie. It was interesting that in the last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon's playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Joel Silver movie with Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans.
And written by Shane Black.
And written by Shane Black. Exactly. Thank you. And then Damon Wayans goes on to play Roger Murtaugh in that, I guess, terrible TV show.
Mm.
So kind of an interesting little
Very
quantum meta snuglet.
A snuglet? I like that.
I don't know, whatever. And then I might have had another one, but I forgot, and I don't care anymore. So
we did mention this in Die Hard, and I think it's worth mentioning it as well here, where Bruno and Gibson were offered each other's roles in these 2 movies.
I still cannot get over that, dude. That is just so bizarre. Because if they had, it's almost like they were each the first choice for the other movie. But if they had swapped roles, it just never would have worked, man.
Yeah. Bruno had basically the Riggs role in Boy Scouts, so you could kind of see him in that role. But I don't think Mel Gibson would have done a good McClane. Maybe, but it kind of freaks me out thinking about it.
I can't picture Bruno as like a cop in LA. Like it just doesn't seem possible.
That's true. He's way more New York, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Definitely. Okay, final nugget. This was and this one is really cool. This is the first appearance, and I find this hard to believe because I feel like Wall Street was, but this was the first movie where a modern cellular telephone appeared. And they obviously showed them using it numerous times in the movie.
That explains why they were just like randomly shooting scenes with a mobile phone, like Murtaugh like standing on the overpass of a highway being like, "Hey honey, give me the number of Hunsaker because his daughter jumped off a building." It's like, why did that need to be like in a fucking staircase over a highway? Oh, because they're showing off the mobile phone. Gotcha.
Yeah,
It's
and like when they're driving down the road, the general's using it, you know?
Well, that's fine. Like, that's what it's for, but just like...
Sure, but I feel like...
I don't know.
My recollection was like Gordon Gekko, dude, in the limo with the phone, you know what I mean? Like the big freaking chunk of clunker, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not this movie, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, the cultural first cell phone in any piece of entertainment is Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell, so everyone else can just fuck off.
Fair enough. All right. Deaths.
Did you write them down? I don't remember any of them.
I write them down every week. I don't always get them all, but this week there were only 3, and they were all me.
Oh, yeah?
I don't really know, unless Ben remembers it differently.
I ejected, actually, to look something up at one stage.
Okay, got yourself a death.
I think you bludgeoned Chad and I to death with Mel Gibson's mullet.
You did.
Okay, there you go.
Death by snoo. Death by mullet.
by snoo. There you go. All right, so C and B.
You could argue that, this is one of your deaths, your Hunt for Red October death. Like, that better be one of your deaths.
Hold on, man. Let me jot this down. The mullet bludgeoning massacre.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, the Murderface mullet death. It's all about these stupid mullets. The mullet.
This was the obsession of the day.
I ruined my own show talking about mullets. The Murderface reference mullet death. Then there was the Hunt for My Red October asshole death. And Mitchell, Ryan, and Liar Liar. Nobody gives a shit death. And then Chad's ejection, looking up somebody, and then me bludgeoning the two of you with my terrible mullet lore.
Did we talk about the mullet in this episode? I think we should talk about mullets some more.
No, we should chat about, just touch on it. Just touch on it for a second. Yeah, so that's the deaths.
Cool.
I hope you have a good death.
Ratings.
All right, I'll start this time and say that I was very, like I said, kind of nonplussed when I was watching it. Like, I know that this is inherently a great movie, right? Could have just been circumstance. I was just kind of like, yeah, cool. Like, whatever. I wasn't hating watching it, nor was I, like, overly enthused to watch it,
You seem very ho-hum on it.
Yeah, that being said, it's still a great movie. You know what I mean? There was a lot of stuff I forgot. And there was some stuff I gleaned out of it that made me feel good. Like, kind of the stuff I was talking about at the beginning. Like, there's a solid story behind this, quote, buddy cop movie. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it great, Plus Richard Donner, plus Shane Black. Like, there's a lot going on here that's really, really good. So I'm just going to go ahead and give this movie a 9 because it's a classic, man. And it's the first and best one in the Lethal Weapon series. IMO. That's it. Let's go.
IMO.
I am ho.
I had this movie in the algorithm already. I think I ranked this movie in the algorithm having not seen it from memory, and it was actually really quite high up, which I don't really feel like it. I feel like it's one of the better buddy cop movies that are out there. Certainly in the buddy cop movies that I've seen. And I think it straddles I think it should define a great movie. So it's a 7.0, which is the great. I think it's great. I think it's a great movie. I don't necessarily think it's a fantastic or legendary movie. It's up there with like the first Born Identity movie, Enter the Dragon, Dazed and Confused. It's actually 4 spots below Hunt for Red October, so there you go. A bit meta for the show.
Wow.
I dug it. It holds up well. It's a great buddy cop movie. It kind of, along with 48 Hours, kicked off the genre around this time, and it was nice to revisit it. I kind of feel what you're saying. It wasn't quite as great as I remember, but I still think it's solid ass.
Right on.
Very
I like
good.
that. Good rating.
What's not to like here? You got buddy cops, you got mullets, you got Danny Glover, you got Busey, you got Gibson, mullets. Did I say mullets already?
Did we say mullets?
You did.
Did we say mullets already?
Didn't even touch on it the whole episode.
And it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that I forgot about.
I'm going to give it a 9, deducting a point because I feel like the movie sort of like loses steam, like maybe 2/3 of the way through it. For some reason, the ending feels, or the wrapping up feels like it's kind of a slog or something, like that's what I noticed on this watch. I don't know if slog is the right word for it, but there's just something about it that feels like it loses some cohesion. Yeah, I love it, man.
It's a good one. Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. I'm with it. Well, there you have it, folks. Lethal Weapon. I hope we didn't ruin this for you.
No, we did.
Hopefully not.
We fucking definitely did.
We definitely did. Sorry. And I
Ruined it for me.
I ruined it for Ben. We ruined it for Ben. And sorry we ruined it for you. See, now we're admitting it wholeheartedly. And also, we will beg you to tune in next week for whatever we're doing. I'm sure it will be better. Algorithm, what are we doing?
Next week, we are having the return of our first guests, the Rolling Stones, to cover Snatch at their request.
Ooh. Oh, that's right. Snatch.
Snatch is
nice.
a good one.
That should be
good.
fantastic. There you have it, folks. Tune in next week for Snatch. Thanks for joining us for this bloody disaster, and bye.
See ya.
Bye.
And that's going to wrap up this week's show, folks. Thanks for tuning in. This was episode 128. If you'd like to support the show,
You can implode in the outro.
yes, you can implode in the outro.
You can find the show notes.
You can find the show. I know what I'm doing. You
Do
can
you?
support us on Patreon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/EBD podcast. Chuck a buck. You never know. Also, rate us and review us wherever you get your podcast snuggleberries. You can also tell your friends to check out the show. Word of mouth, incredibly powerful and incredibly important. If you'd like to find the show notes, or you can find the show notes for this episode in your podcast app of choice, or at our website, ebd.fm/episodes/128. Don't forget to check us out on social media, folks, and like stuff. Subscribe.
Hit that bell.
Hit that bell. Hit that big red button. We're on all social media channels using the handle @EBD Podcast. So join in on the conversation. That's it. Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned next week for Snatch featuring the Rolling Stones. And we will see you on another time. Ta-ta.
One for C-Lab, two for Troy Eagle, three for Wolverine to round out the trio in this episode. Everybody dies.
Beady, beady, beady. Stop into it.